What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about my honest thoughts of Resident Evil Village. Kind of make this my review of the game. And I don't even look at these things, honestly, too much as reviews. I don't give number scores. I pretty much just talk about my experience with it. Again, like the title may show you, the good and the bad. Some of the things I really loved about the game, some of the things that I guess I will nitpick about the game, and it's up to you guys to make your own decisions. I think a lot of people have already bought this game, right? If you guys are new here, if you guys haven't already, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you guys have the bell icon turned on. We've done loads of Resident Evil Village videos, which have killed, by the way. You guys have done phenomenal in supporting those videos. I greatly appreciate it. We got more. There's going to be more talking about 9, more talking about DLC, so I got more videos planned, and then when those things do happen, or, we get close to those things, I will continue to cover Resident Evil quite heavily on the channel, okay? Again, thank you so much for the support. So let's talk about this game. I really liked it. I did. I kind of went up and down in my mind of game of the year, maybe this, like, it kind of back and, like, literally that was my mind talking, right? Where it's like, oh my God, like, this is phenomenal, and maybe this is my favorite game of this year. Maybe this is the best Resident Evil game. And then it dipped, and it was like, I actually maybe prefer this one or that one. But here's what I'll say. I love the game. I would go so far to say I love the game. There are a lot of problems, but I don't think they get in the way of me saying that I love it. I think you can love something but find issues in that thing. I also would I want to say it's my favorite game of the series. Now, again, if you guys have watched these videos for several weeks, even several months, I've talked about kind of my history with Resident Evil in that I started late. I think I really started with 5. I played 5, 6. I went back to play 4. I played 2 and 3. I played 2's remake. I watched 3's remake. I never played 1. And I played 7, obviously. So, like, I've experienced most, if not all of them, in some capacity. And I'm a fan of the first-person thing. I actually kind of, I don't know if I prefer it, but I definitely am okay with it, okay? So I really like 7. I really like 8. To me, it's kind of a battle between 7 or 8 for my favorite. And then you throw in 4. 4 is probably top 3 as well. I would almost give it to 8. I really think 8 does a lot of good things, even though it does do a lot of kind of negative things as well. So let's talk about the good. I love how it looks. Visually, it looks absolutely amazing. I would go so far as to say cutscenes too. Sometimes the cutscenes, especially if they spend too much time looking at characters, okay, it doesn't look the greatest in the world, but for the most part, especially like when you're in the game, oh my God, the lighting, the enemies, their design, everything, the setting, it's a really beautiful world. And I saw people talk about that going into this game, and I didn't quite really understand, or I guess I also didn't really care because, like, I wanted to experience it for myself. But a lot of people were saying, like, Resident Evil is a very scary game, but when you go in there is that contrast because a lot of it, the village itself, it's kind of in the light, and there's a lot of detail there, and it kind of feels more bright than you would maybe imagine with, like, a darker, scarier game. And now I get that, because that's true. That really is true. I mean, there's a good contrast there. So I love that. I love the Lords. All of them, okay? Now, here's the deal. The Lords are both a good thing and a bad thing. So Mother Miranda obviously being the top, and then you have, Heisenberg, you have Lady Dimitrescu, and then you have the Doll Maker, and you have Moro. Now, I love all of them, okay? Now, let me say this. I think that, again, there's good and bad. The bad is the middle two have next to no development whatsoever, especially the Doll Maker. Now, I can try to say the last name. I'm not going to try. Obviously, the doll's name is Angie, and then Donna, right? She's that's the first name of the Doll Maker. So we're just going to call her the Doll Maker for the purposes of this video. I deeply want there to be more, especially I would say with her, because I think her section is one of the biggest differences. Like, you go through this whole game, and a lot of the game does feel the same, which it probably should. If you're playing one game, throughout that game, it should feel kind of like the other parts of the game. But Resident Evil games don't always have to, right? They can honestly do quite a bit of, like, the Heisenberg stuff, very action heavy, which I do have things to say about that. Whereas even like the Lady Dimitrescu, she is more of the exploration, feeling hunted, right? There's a lot of situations where you're feeling hunted in it. Really, I think probably to mimic Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3. So maybe that was kind of a late addition to it or something like that. But they all have something. And then the whole the fish, I guess, idea of of the third one, where it's like you're going through and there's a lot of water, which I'm a big fan of water personally. I don't drink enough of it, but I love water. So like that one even has kind of its own thing as well. But the doll maker specifically, I really love that section. I love that they take everything from you in that section and that it's simply just solving puzzles that are I would say very easy. That's another thing too. I got in and out of the doll maker's house in probably an hour and a half, maybe even less, because you really don't spend all that much time there. And then in terms of when you see them for approximately 5 seconds, and that's it. That's really it, and then you're pretty much done with it. I guess I won't spoil anything in this video, but it's almost insulting how fast you get rid of. I think you could probably assume that these lords don't stick around, okay? It's insulting almost how fast you get through the doll maker and how fast you take them out. Now, I guess she literally makes dolls. She messes like with your head and stuff like that. So maybe, they couldn't figure out exactly how to make her more prominent, like herself, and not like kind of fake outs and stuff like that, but that's the situation. Lady Dimitrescu and Heisenberg are easily the most fleshed out characters. I love both of them. They're actually really, really good. Again, I like being I don't like being chased, okay, because the chasing stuff and them kind of always hunting you in the the castle is terrifying, and it makes me very, very tense, and I can't get things done. In fact, we live streamed this game this past Friday, and the entire time we live streamed, I was in that castle. You guys can watch. I mean, I fall apart because I really can't focus. Well, one, live streaming is harder too. I can't focus in general when I live stream, but having somebody chase you consistently is terrifying, and it's something that when you're playing the game, it's hard to get things done when you can hear them or when they could just be like right around the corner, right? It's terrifying. And then Heisenberg as a character is insanely cool, but his stuff, his factory is actually okay. I don't really have anything wrong with the factory and the molds when you're trying to get the molds and you're trying to press them and all that stuff. That's fine. The stronghold, I would say, is my biggest issue with the game. Now, my friend told me that you can just run past the lichens. I did not do that. So here's my biggest issue with Resident Evil Village, okay? I know I've jumped literally everywhere you can go in this game. I love a lot of things in this game. I love the actual gameplay literally by itself, like crafting. I love the map. I love, again, the exploration. I love the puzzles. I love the hidden secrets that are all over the game. You don't have to do them. In fact, I didn't do most of them, but you certainly can, right? All that stuff is great, and I do love the gunplay as a thing. Like, I like the actual mechanics of it, but the game, for the most part, the Lady Dimitrescu is not very action-heavy at all. Like, the boss fights obviously are, but in terms of the castle, not really. The doll maker, you don't even have guns in that because they take them all. In the Moreau, that one is not, there is action there, but to be honest with you, it's not all that much. Most of it is puzzles, and most of it is exploration, again, okay? Really, again, it's just the boss fight, I would say, that's more of the actual gunplay. Then you get to the stronghold, and all of a sudden the game wants to be an action game. Now, this was my biggest problem with 7. The fact that you go through the whole game, and yes, you're using guns. Yes, you're taking down enemies. Yes, you're taking down bosses. But I would say 90 to 95% of Resident Evil 7 still fit a certain mold of a game. And then the last 5 to 10%, that last hour, okay, was just a pure action game, was just a lot of firing your gun, which I thought was way too big of a contrast. Now, did I hate the last hour? No, I just felt it was very different and kind of off-putting different, okay? Resident Evil Village, I think, almost does the exact same thing, where it doesn't feel like you're going to be doing it all that much, and then bam, you do the stronghold, where, again, my friend told me you can actually run past the lichens. I didn't know that. I killed rough, and I am not I know I exaggerate quite a bit in terms of numbers. I'm not exaggerating. There had to have been close to 40 lichens that you fight within like a 10-minute interval. Like, you go into the stronghold and you have to fight maybe 20, and then you get in and you have to fight like another 20 immediately, like back to back. And I used a lot of my ammo. I used a lot of my guns. Then you have to fight like a mini boss fight. There is a lot of fighting in the stronghold. And while I didn't hate it because I like the gameplay mechanics of the guns and of the stuff like that. It just felt so different. There is another one. I'll just say it. I won't tell you when you play as Chris, but you play as Chris, okay? That's I guess that's a spoiler, but not really. And there's a lot of fighting there too, but let me say this. They make it so that Chris is very powerful. And how do you do that? You give him a lot of ammo, and you make his gun do more damage to enemies than Ethan's stuff. And that's how they do it, okay? I actually, weirdly enough, I know I just said all that stuff about action, I didn't mind the Chris's stuff at all because I felt the story was good of what he was supposed to be doing at the time. And again, I felt like they were trying to make it seem like, okay, this is a badass character. He's very powerful. He's always telling Ethan, you're out of your league. You're not, get out of the way, stuff like that. Well, okay, put up or shut up. You do your stuff then, Chris. And oh my God, does he, right? He's very, very strong. So I actually didn't mind that at all. And then the overall story I thought was very solid. I didn't think it was amazing. It's very simplistic. There's not too much to be confused about. And then the ending obviously does have its issues to some people, including, I guess, myself. But again, I'm not going to get into spoilers in this video. So again, there's a lot of, you could call it nitpicking, but there's a lot of issues I do have with this game. I don't love some of the action stuff. They really did dirty some of the lords. They just did not get enough time whatsoever. The game is also very short. Now, I don't mind spending $60 on a 8 to 10 hour game. I truly don't. I've done it for years and years and years. I know that games have gotten longer. I know games have gotten, even with the price jump of $10 right to $70, not that this game is, but they're getting more expensive, and a lot of them are getting bigger. So when you have a game that's $60, that's short, very short, it may take you 15 hours to platinum this thing, okay? But that's probably it. I don't really think you're going to get 20, 25 hours out of this. I got like 8.5. I don't know if I'm ever going to go back in. Maybe I will, so maybe I'll get close to 15 hours kind of max. I'm okay with spending that, but I know not everybody is. I know that for a fact, and that's okay. I honestly think that's okay. So you have to think about price and all that. So there are issues, but there's also a lot to love. Again, visually, the diversity of the game, the character, like Ethan is a really good character. I really do believe that. So there's a lot to love here. I don't know if it's my game of the year. I would say it's not right now, but throughout the year, maybe it sticks with me, and I'm like, you know what? I always go back to thinking about this part of the game, and maybe it does become my game of the year. So I love this game. I definitely recommend it if you guys are a Resident Evil fan. But again, I think this game is selling millions. I think this game will continue to sell. I don't think people are necessarily coming to me, but if you are coming to me, there's all my thoughts. You can now take the good that I said, the bad that I said, and weigh it in your head of what to do with that, right? If it sounds like a game that you are, you kind of like, I think you would definitely, go for it. If it's not, then don't buy it. You know what I mean? So let me know, guys, in the comments below. What do you think? Did you play it? What would you rate it? So I don't do number scores, but what would you guys give it on a number score rating? Let me know. As always, again, make sure you guys are subscribed to this channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. Leave the video a like if you did like it. And final thing, if you guys want to follow me over on Twitter, PodcastNow15 is my Twitter handle. The link for it's in the description, along with all of my other social media stuff, okay? If you guys want to support me in any of those other places, greatly appreciate it. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all on the next video.